What's going on, everybody? So I am back today to talk about another film. This time I'm talking about a film that was exclusively released on Hulu. I haven't done a lot of Hulu exclusive films. I've watched a couple. I did do the recent review Good Boy from the Into the Dark exclusive. I saw a lot of people talking about this one and I felt like I would dive in and watch it, and I was pleasantly surprised. This movie was definitely not what I was expecting at all. It was really enjoyable and fun. And the movie I'm going to be talking about today is Fresh. Fresh is directed by McKay, frustrated by scrolling dating apps only to end up on lame, tedious dates. Noah, played by Daisy Edgar-Jones, takes a chance by giving her number to the awkwardly charming Steve, played by Sebastian after a produce section meet cute at the grocery store. This movie is really difficult to talk about without getting into spoilers. Almost impossible to talk about without getting into spoilers. So before I get into it, all of this review is going to be spoiler laden because I have no other way to discuss it. This is just my recommendation that if you have a Hulu subscription, just go watch it because it is a ton of fun. It's really over the top, some really great performances, some unique cinematography that I was really impressed with. And I'm going to get into that when I talk about spoilers, but if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it and then come back and watch my review. I have Daisy Edgar-Jones and Sebastian meet at this grocery store, and he comes off as this really charming and nice guy after our lead character, Noah, played by Daisy Edgar-Jones, has gone on these dates. She's seemingly out of luck on these Tinder-esque profiles that she's created. All the men on them seem to be just really off-putting and terrible. And she's really close to her best friend, Molly, played by Jonica T. Gibbs, who gives a phenomenal performance in this movie. She is fantastic. Their chemistry is really good together. They really come across as close and supportive of one another. And she's really pushing her to try to find the right type of person and to get into the dating pool. And so he goes on a date with this Steve character, and they really hit it off. She ends up going back to his apartment. They dance together. She ends up sleeping with him, and she really feels this connection with him and the way that he presents himself. He really cares about her. So they go out for a little while, and all of a sudden, in the time knowing each other, he spurs on her this trip to go to this place out in the middle of nowhere and says, yeah, I have this beautiful cabin I want to take you to. And she tells her best friend about it, and her best friend is like, whoa, this is pretty early. Have you checked the guy out? Do you know anything about him? Oh, he doesn't have any social media. Oh, this, that, and the other. And it's like, okay, something is clearly wrong with this guy. You don't know what it is, but you're getting this sense of this idea that something is going to be off about him. You're watching the movie, and what's really interesting about it is, and you'll see a lot of people talk about it when they give their review, the title card to the film doesn't drop until 38 minutes into the movie, and it is really wonderful because that's right when you get the reveal of what's going on, and it completely sort of shifts the tone of the movie, and I really appreciated that. I'm somebody who likes when a movie can be portrayed as something and then completely 180 the audience. I think it's so much more fun to have that. There's a lot of films like that. There was a film I watched a couple years ago on Netflix. The film itself was all right, but I really loved the kind of bait and switch of the movie, and that was The Perfection, which if you get a chance to watch it, if you're into this type of movie that's going to subvert your expectations as far as what you're going in for and what you end up coming out with, this is a really good one. So they go to this cabin in the middle of nowhere. She can't get any cell phone service. They're eating dinner, and he gives her a drink, and she takes a drink and she passes out, and when she wakes up, she's in this room that has a painting of the ocean on the wall. There's no windows or anything, and she's shut in, and she's shackled onto the floor. And Steve, played by Sebastian, tells her that he traps women, cuts them up, and sells their meat to this group of people who are cannibals, and they like to eat people. And he says it's a very small group of people. They pay a ton of money for it, and that he's going to keep her alive as long as possible because the fresher the meat is, the more people enjoy it. Our lead character, Noah, is trapped in this house and trying to figure out how she can escape. And for some reason, he has more of an attachment to her than some of the other women that are in the house. And her trying to see if she can take advantage of that. And then her friend, Molly, trying to figure out where she's gone and trying to help find her. So yeah, that's pretty much the basis of the film. And it really, at that 30-minute mark, takes off into this direction that is so much fun. And one of the things that makes this movie so strong is the performances. I really like Sebastian Stan in this. He starts off as that really charming and charismatic person. What I like about his performance is the nuance of the psychopathy of the character. He's very soft-spoken at times when he's being really evil, and then there's times that he's just really unhinged and awful. And I like that there's this like almost roller coaster of emotions that he's giving off throughout the movie. And when you're watching his character and how he interacts with Noah especially, it's just a really great performance. It reminded me a little bit of Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, with that like presenting a very specific way in social situations, and then like when you're out and about and on your own being this just completely unhinged maniac. And I appreciated that. Daisy Edgar-Jones, who played Noah, did a really great job. She obviously is in this situation where she's trying to escape, and then once the movie's playing on and she realizes, she starts talking to one of the other girls who's kidnapped through the wall, and she's like, hey, he must like you more than other people. She gets a magazine at some point and opens it, and somebody had written in the crease of the magazine, if you're reading this, he likes you more than everyone else. Use that to your advantage. And watching her character subtly manipulate him. And what's great about it is that there's this uncertainty as a viewer of, is she really kind of like falling for him a little bit? Is she just manipulating him? And obviously in the end, you hope that she's manipulating him and gonna give him his just desserts, so to speak. But it's really great the way that the filmmaking is executed in those performances, that for the viewer, it's just leaving those questions in your head of what's going on. Is she subtly manipulating him as well, back and forth? And I liked that. There's that power dynamic between those two. And then, like I said, her friend Molly is really well performed. I loved her character. Just a concerned friend who would do anything for this person, loves them with all their heart, wants them to have a good life. And the lengths that she's willing to go to try to save her friend is really great. And I loved all those dynamics. Cinematography in this is really unique. There's a lot of really great shots. The house that Steve lives in, it's really expansive, and they use some really interesting shots. There's some like sort of POV looking visuals in it. There's some over-the-head shots that look really good, some really unique use of close-ups, a lot of split diopter shots in this film. And what I liked so much about this is like a very interesting take on a thriller film, but it'd been a while since I'd watched a movie that the director subverts your expectations for so long until they finally pack that punch. And McKay did a phenomenal job with this. She clearly had a vision and executed it really well. You think you're getting into this like romance movie, and it turns into a film about a deranged cannibal who's trying to feed the hunger of other cannibals. It's so deranged that he like sends these boxes to people with articles of clothing from the women in it, and it's really unique and interesting, and I love the third act. I'm not going to get into talking about it too much. If you've seen the movie, it's a really great payoff, super brutal, really intense. There's a lot of nice twists thrown in throughout the film. But yeah, overall, I just really liked this one a lot. I think it's a fun experience, and I think if you have a Hulu account and you're looking for something to watch that's a little out there, a little wild, this is definitely one that you should check out. So have you seen Fresh yet? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was great. It was a lot of fun, had some really beautiful cinematography. I didn't talk about it much, but the score was really good. And yeah, I just think if you have that subscription, definitely worth watching. As always, if you'd like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot, lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting new videos out there. I've got plenty of content planned for the future, and I look forward to getting it out there for you. As always, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.